Ghost Adventures, Aftershocks, the Stanley Hotel. So I thought it was like perfect time to talk about my experiences with the Stanley Hotel. So I'm not here to bash the Stanley Hotel. I'm just going to be honest with some of the experiences I had. So there was a point that Callie and I were friends, and she was running the Stanley beautifully, and new management came in and they kind of just revamped everything. And I'm not here to air Callie's dirty laundry, but I will say that the Stanley did her very dirty. They kind of saw Callie getting a lot of attention from being on Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures, and they kind of wanted to selfishly, I think, put themselves in the spotlight. They felt like they could do better, they could do more, and they didn't treat Callie very good. Which was really sad because I feel like ever since Callie left the Stanley, it totally went downhill from there. They've changed management and their priorities kind of went down the toilet, I guess you could say. There has been a lot of problems with things they've tried doing. For a while they put in a butterfly like pavilion area, and it was really kind of gross because they had like the butterflies on cocoons off of like trees, and there were just like hundreds of dead butterflies everywhere, and it was in a window so you could see them just dead. And I didn't really understand the butterfly thing anyways because I don't know what that has to do with the Stanley Hotel. I don't know, whatever. They did start doing construction on the carriage house. Zach was the last person allowed in the carriage house. I actually got to interview a security guard there about a year ago, and the security guards are actually afraid to patrol down by the carriage house. They are supposed to, but they're afraid to because I guess there's a lot of weird energy that goes around down there, just as they said on TV. But with that being said, I think that they were trying to turn the carriage house into like a museum, and I don't know if they couldn't get the permits. There's something weird with the carriage house as far as ownership goes. There's like two owners that own the carriage house, and one of them is he's attainable, like approachable, and he'll work with you. And then there's another owner of the split of the carriage house, and he doesn't work with anybody. In fact, I remember when Callie got Zach to, was able to investigate inside the carriage house, it was a little bit like pulling teeth, and finally I think at the last minute he agreed. After that, no one has been allowed inside the carriage house, and I heard via rumor they didn't like how the carriage house was portrayed as dark energy, which is why they've never let anyone else in since. I've actually been in the carriage house. It's a very strange vibe, and I can't tell you why. The Stanley does have like a lot of quartz formations that it sits on top of and stuff. There's actually underneath the hotel part, there's like underground tunnels that have these huge rock formations with quartz inside of them. So that could itself be a magnet or energy source for these entities to be manifesting and creating themselves. They talked about this big dark figure that is in the Stanley Hotel. There's been a couple different ways he's been portrayed. One side is I had been there with Callie at one point, and he smells like armpits. So I don't know if, and I know it sounds funny, but seriously, like whatever this tall dark figure, like he comes across as like maybe a cowboy from like the olden days, I'm not sure. But then there's also some other dark stuff, and I know that there's been like a troll that has manifested inside of the concert hall. And then like there's also claims of Indians inside of the presidential suite, which is where the celebrities usually stay. And there's also like quotes of leprechauns. Like, I've never actually seen them, but there's a lot of weird things going on with the Stanley. I think that the new management came in and just saw a lot of dollar signs, because now they're also charging you to park there. As if they didn't make enough money as it was before. They also took The Shining and then ended up making this maze, and I have a friend that went, and apparently it's not even like a legitimate maze. They're like little hedges, and I guess they're short enough that you could actually step over. I'm not sure if you have to pay to get in the maze or not. Then they also have all of these expensive ghost hunts, and they have some of the people that were from like Ghost Hunters Academy that work up there, and a few other random people that run these ghost hunts. And I mean, for as much as they charge for them, I don't know if they're really getting paid, for the amount of work that they're doing. It's kind of unfair. So I just think they're kind of milking it in financially now that it's been aired as such like a haunted attraction. It's probably, it did used to be a very friendly haunt. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've been to the Stanley. It's probably been hundreds at least. And I've stayed there numerous times of the night. I've been there to ghost hunt, all kinds of stuff. I will say this, because it was basically in my backyard. When I was living in Colorado, it was an hour from my house. So if we got bored, we would just go up to the Stanley for the night. But in the beginning, before, I guess maybe after Ghost Adventures aired the first time in 2010 or 2011, it was a fairly friendly haunt. And then I don't know if people have gone up there and kind of stirred more energy up, but over time it has gotten darker. And I actually had a really bad experience. I had stayed with Callie one time, and I think it was in 2012, and we were sharing a room. We split the cost of a room. It was for one of Dave's events, and something actually ended up crawling between Callie and I on the bed. And it was one of the most vivid experiences I've ever had, because when this body crawled up on the bed, I don't know if you've ever had like a cat or an animal jump on your bed, and like if they're too close, you'll kind of like fluff the covers so that they'll get off or whatever. I actually fluffed the comforter trying to like get it away. And this thing was so strong, it was not budging. And to be perfectly honest, that was such a bad experience that I didn't really want to stay the night again after that, because I don't mind investigating and stuff. I don't want it around me when I'm trying to sleep. I don't allow things to follow me home. So that's really kind of an unfun experience, I guess, especially when it feels like it's intimidating energy. Also that night, the door kept opening and closing all night. So we did go up for one more ghost hunt after that, and we didn't actually sleep. We were just there to rent a room and to investigate, and it was really strange. The only thing it was in the manor house, and the only way I can explain it is that it sounded like there was a stairway inside of our bedroom going up to like an attic. And obviously that was not the case. Or else, actually, it sounded like the stairway was in the bathroom. Like all night you could hear things going up and down the staircase that wasn't there. So that was really strange, but it is very dark compared to what it used to be. I'm not sure why. I don't know if people are going in to summon things, if people are doing things they shouldn't be doing inside of the hotel. But I know it's really become not one of my favorite spots anymore, even though I have been there so many times. Final thoughts on it. Props to Callie that she was brave enough to, tell everybody how she felt and what she went through. I know she had a really hard time with whatever had been following her. And, under the circumstances, she gets really mad props from me for going to do the interview with Zach, especially under the circumstances of her kind of getting shit on from the Stanley. And I wish her the best. And I think that Ghost Adventures Aftershocks is still one of the best things ever. So subscribe to my channel, follow me on social media, like my video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.